I get it when you're eyeing a high-end espresso machine. The excitement is mixed with a little dread. You picture yourself pulling a silky latte on a lazy Sunday, but then you wonder if that $1,600 price tag will end up as a fancy paperweight because the machine is too finicky, takes forever to clean, or just doesn't fit your kitchen vibe. That hesitation is real, and I've been there, scrolling through endless forums, watching YouTubers argue about grind size, and reading a handful of 5-star reviews that sound almost too good to be true. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break it down the way you'd explain it to a friend who's about to decide whether the KitchenAid fully automatic espresso machine KF8, KS8558PL in porcelain white is worth that investment. First off, this isn't a plug-and-play single-serve pod machine. It's a countertop beast that aims to bring KF8 consistency to a home setting. The key selling point is the 40-plus drink recipes you can summon with a single tap, everything from a classic espresso shot to a cold brew latte, even a cappuccino with a foam-rich finish. The idea is you don't need to become a barista. You just press a button, and the machine does the heavy lifting. Who should consider this? If you're a coffee enthusiast who drinks at least 2 specialty drinks a day, values the ability to experiment with recipes, and already owns a decent grinder, this machine can become the centerpiece of your morning ritual. The built-in grinder, paired with a removable bean hopper that twists off in a smooth motion, makes refilling beans a breeze, no wrestling with clunky trays. The fact that the hopper is removable also means you can switch between beans without contaminating flavors, which is handy if you like rotating roasts or want to keep a separate stash for a dark blend. Now, who should skip it? If you only need a quick cup of drip coffee, or you're happy with a pod system that requires virtually no maintenance, you'll likely find this machine overkill. Also, if counter space is at a premium, this unit is sizable, and the porcelain white finish, while stunning, is a design choice that can clash with darker kitchen palettes. Lastly, if you're not comfortable with routine cleaning and descaling, the Clean Me indicator will remind you constantly, and ignoring it can affect taste and longevity. Let's talk about everyday use. The first thing I noticed when I set it up was the metal-clad construction. KitchenAid has a reputation for sturdy appliances, and the metal shell does feel substantial, not the cheap plastic you see on lower-priced automatics. This weight also means the machine stays put when you're frothing milk, which can get a bit vigorous. The milk container included can handle both whole milk and plant-based alternatives, so if you're an oat milk fan, you won't have to juggle separate pitchers. I filled it with oat milk one morning, hit the cappuccino button, and the machine froths it to a silky microfoam without scorching, which is something I've seen cheaper machines struggle with. One practical strength that becomes evident quickly is the consistency of the shot. Because the machine grinds, doses, tamps, and extracts all in one automated sequence, you get a repeatable espresso that matches the profile you set in the recipe. For me, that meant my morning double always hit around 1.5 ounces with a smooth crema, even on days when I was running late. The 40-plus recipes also let you experiment without learning the math of coffee-to-water ratios. Want a flat white? One tap, and the machine knows to pull a shorter shot and add a thinner milk layer. It saves time and removes the guesswork that can make home espresso feel like a science experiment. On the flip side, the machine's learning curve isn't zero. The initial setup asks you to calibrate the grinder grind size, which can be a bit fiddly if you don't already have a grinder you trust. The on-screen menu isn't a full touchscreen. You navigate with a rotary dial and a few push buttons. Once you get the hang of it, it's fine, but the first few days feel like you're reading a manual that assumes you already know espresso terminology. Also, the cleaning routine, while guided by the Clean Me light, requires you to disassemble the brew group, run a cleaning cycle, and then wipe down the milk container. If you're the type who forgets to decal appliances, you'll end up with that indicator flashing more often than you'd like. Another practical point, water consumption. The machine has a built-in water tank that holds about 2 liters. That's enough for a few dozen drinks. But if you're entertaining or making multiple drinks in a row, you'll find yourself refilling the tank more often than you'd expect with a pod machine that draws directly from a larger reservoir. It's a small inconvenience, but worth noting if you plan to use it for brunch gatherings. Now let's talk value. The 4-star rating from 46 reviewers suggests most owners are satisfied, but